Manny Pacquiao was born into extreme poverty in General Santos City. His family struggled to survive, and he did whatever he could, selling items on the streets just to put food on the table. It didn't take long for him to realize that his fists were his only way out. No matter how much success I achieve or how much money I make, I will never forget where I came from. During the holiday season, Manny Pacquiao and his team were in the giving spirit, handing out turkeys and pumpkin pies to families in need. I still understand. I still feel the pain of poverty in my heart. He said, "You never know when the next Muhammad Ali will walk through your door." In his home country, limited edition Manny Pacquiao stamps went on sale. I knew he was special. Manny Pacquiao fought like a true champion. PacMan's journey from rags to riches is one for the history books. At age 14, Manny ran away from home after his father killed and ate his pet dog. I decided to go to Manila to pursue my boxing career and support my family. With nowhere to go, he found his way to a small boxing gym in Manila. The gym owner noticed him and allowed him to stay. At times, he even slept inside the ring or on the streets, always dreaming of becoming a professional fighter. At just 16, a starving street kid named Manny Pacquiao made his professional debut. To compete, he had to lie about his age and fight 7 pounds under the weight limit. He weighed 98, and the minimum was 105, so you had to stuff your pockets just to make weight. Pacquiao remained undefeated, boasting a record of 4 wins and 0 losses. Do you realize he turned pro at just 16? He wasn't even 5 feet tall or 100 pounds. From the beginning, his electrifying style won over fight fans, delivering one action-packed match after another. I never thought he'd go far as a fighter. He was wild, throwing punches from all directions with no real technique. But he had power and guts. For his fights, he earned as little as $20. This fight won't last long. A commentator predicted that Pacquiao's relentless pressure became his signature. He's a machine, constantly punching nonstop. That's his style. He developed a reputation as a knockout artist, capable of ending a fight with a single punch saved by the bell. Pacquiao remained undefeated in 10 fights and was proving himself as a young star at 17. With a regular diet and proper training, his body started to develop. But when he failed to make the 105-pound flyweight limit, he had to move up in weight. He's out. It's over. Get up, man, it's over. That loss was a harsh lesson. He was talented, but still just a kid. He's incredibly popular. Everywhere we go, people ask for Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao's relentless combinations, his jabs, hooks, and uppercuts, became his trademark. He's being overwhelmed by Pacquiao. Right-left combo. Pacquiao is hitting at will. This victory marked his first win over a foreign opponent. With 3 wins, Pacquiao set his sights on his first internationally recognized title. At 33-0, Pacquiao was an undefeated powerhouse. Many believed he was being pushed too fast. WBC flyweight title on the line. Pacquiao versus Chache Sasakal. At this point, a loss could have meant returning to poverty. But when you're fighting for something bigger than yourself, survival is the only option, and down he goes. A brutal body shot was buried in that barrage of punches that Manny Pacquiao had arrived at 18. He was a world champion. The new lineal flyweight champion, Sasakal's reign is over. Pacquiao's era has begun. In his early years, he fought not for fame, but to feed his family. With this title, he became a national hero. Crowds cheered as he returned home a champion. For the first time, he saw the impact he could have. The WBC flyweight champion of the world, Manny Pacquiao. He wasn't just throwing punches. He knew when to strike. Having proper meals, sleep, and training changed everything. But it also made it impossible to stay at 112 pounds. He pushed his body to the limit to defend his title, severely dehydrating himself. And it cost him. He was knocked out at just 18, another tough lesson after that loss. Pacquiao moved up to 122 pounds, a more natural weight class. Right away, he fought for another title against an opponent who had never been knocked down. Pacquiao became the WBC International Junior Featherweight Champion. It was time for the next step. He packed his bags and headed to America even as a champion. He struggled to find a promoter. That changed when he met legendary trainer Freddie Roach. They walked into my gym about 12 years ago. After just one round of mitt work, I turned to my team and said, "Wow, this kid can fight." Roach had trained over 25 world champions, but Pacquiao stood out. I've seen guys with speed. I've seen guys with power, but never both at the same time. Pacquiao's big break came when the IBF Super Bantamweight champion's opponent dropped out on short notice. Pacquiao stepped in with just 2 weeks' preparation to face a bigger, stronger, and well-known champion coming up, Lelo Lewiba versus Manny Pacquiao. Lelo Lewiba was on the rise, a potential pound-for-pound star. Pacquiao? He was a complete unknown. The IBF Super Bantamweight Championship was on the line. Pacquiao needed to keep up the pressure and avoid a technical match with the champion. This guy hits hard. I had never seen him before, never even heard of him. But now, I'll never forget him. And that's it. The referee waves it off. A 6th round TKO. Manny Pacquiao had just dismantled a world-class fighter with this win. He made his mark on the featherweight division, becoming a 2-time world champion. The new IBF Super Bantamweight champion of the world, Manny Pacquiao. This victory changed everything. He wasn't just a rising boxer. He was a national treasure. Manny is the king of the Philippines. Over there, he's like a god. Politicians, celebrities, and fans all wanted to see the young man who had fought his way from extreme poverty to global fame. He's an icon, a legend, an inspiration to millions. When you reach the top, staying hungry is the hardest part, but for Manny Pacquiao, the fire never faded that I am the Philippines. Manny Pacquiao is a superstar of incredible magnitude, on par with legends like Muhammad Ali and Julio Cesar Chavez in their home countries. Many great fighters have stepped into the ring before him, but Pacquiao has already earned Julio's respect with his power. A huge left hand from Pacquiao. Julio looks shaken by Manny's strength, and he's down. That's the face of a man who knows he made a critical mistake. What a prospect, Bobby. To me, he's just as electrifying as Prince Nassim Hamed. Pacquiao completely dismantled Julio, leaving us wondering, what could he do against Marco Antonio Barrera? But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Barrera may not be in his prime, but he's still one of the best to ever do it. Manny moved up in weight to the featherweight division to take on his toughest challenge yet, 3-time world champion Marco Antonio Barrera. At the time, Barrera was considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Meanwhile, Manny was a rising underdog, and many expected Barrera to overwhelm him. People thought the jump in weight would be too much. They said Barrera was just too strong, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get ready to rumble. Barrera entered the fight as a 4-1 favorite. It was a fight I'll never forget watching. Pacquiao lands a hard left straight to the chin. Barrera is down. Wow! What Manny did to Barrera was brutal. He completely dominated him with body shots and relentless pressure. It was a defining moment in his career. The referee steps in. That's a good call. He could have stopped it 2 rounds ago. The Filipino sensation Manny Pacquiao annihilates, dismantles, and humiliates the great Marco Antonio Barrera. Now, Pacquiao is on the hunt for challengers brave enough to face his destruction. He has become a 3-division world champion, an international superstar, and a national icon in the Philippines and his home country. His impact is unlike anything we've ever seen. He's been called the Asian Elvis, a national treasure. Manny wasn't just a boxer. He was a movie star, a TV personality, and a sought-after endorser. Wherever he went, fans followed in droves. He was like the Beatles, Michael Jordan, and Brad Pitt all rolled into one. That as great as his rivalry would become. The first round wasn't even close. Pacquiao fires a straight left hand, boom. That power is unreal. Juan Manuel Márquez is down. He's down again. A 3rd knockdown in the first round. I don't know if Márquez can recover from this. Manny is an unstoppable force. Márquez has never faced anything like this. Who has? But Márquez refused to go down without a fight. And a legendary rivalry was born. Márquez is battling back. He's landing big shots. This is turning into an all-out war. The fight ends in a controversial draw, split decision. Both fighters keep their titles, but deep inside, at the core of Manny Pacquiao, is a spirit of giving back. Pacquiao has earned over $500 million in his boxing career. Of that, he has donated more than $300 million to his community. People come to his house with medical bills, and he pays them. He helps everyone, giving money, covering healthcare costs, changing lives. In 2011, when Typhoon Washi devastated the Philippines, killing over 1,000 and leaving many homeless, Manny didn't just donate more than $500,000. He personally helped rebuild, funding over 1,000 homes out of his own pocket. Now, it's time for our main event. Erik Morales versus Manny Pacquiao back home in the Philippines. People are staying up all night to watch their hero fight. The match lived up to the hype. Pacquiao lands a huge left hand. Morales answers back with a hard right. A headbutt opens a cut over Manny's eye. That's a nasty one. The doctor might have to check it, but the fight goes on. That it was a brutal war. Both fighters giving everything they had. They stood toe-to-toe until the final bell. Nobody will be asking for their money back after this one. The decision is in. Winner by unanimous decision, Erik Morales. Morales was a sharper puncher and deserved the win. After that loss, I told myself, my job is to make Manny's right hand as dangerous as his left with more time to train. Freddie Roach transformed Pacquiao from a one-dimensional slugger into a complete fighter, deadly with both hands. Their relationship was more than just trainer and boxer. Manny saw Roach as a father figure. He's not just my trainer. He's my advisor. He's like my father. Pacquiao's training sessions were legendary. His power was so intense, it would leave Roach's hands bruised. His relentless pace was unmatched. He jumped rope for over an hour straight, ran through the streets like a machine, and trained with the great Freddie Roach, once a student of the legendary Eddie Futch, one of the best trainers of the modern era. And now, it's time. Manny sprints across the ring. Round one begins. Fireworks right away. Morales wanted to send a message. His strategy? Attack, attack, and attack some more, but Pacquiao was an animal in the ring. Aggression was his style, and he welcomed the war, both men trading shots. Hard left from Pacquiao, big right from Morales. It was one of the most thrilling fights in boxing history. Manny finally breaks through. Oh, Morales is down. The fight is over. Manny Pacquiao stops Erik Morales. He dropped Morales twice in the 10th round to win by knockout. The victory was everything fans had hoped for. The demand for a third fight was sky high. And when it happened, Manny left no doubt about who was better. Boom. Morales goes down. Another crushing left hand from Pacquiao. Pacquiao had done the unthinkable. He knocked out the great Erik Morales not once, but twice. When Manny fights, the entire nation stops to watch. Businesses close. Crime rates drop to near zero. The streets are empty. Because everyone is glued to the fight, only one man has ever been able to shut down the Philippines. Manny Pacquiao, according to both Ring Magazine and ESPN. This was a battle between two of the top 5 fighters in the world. This is round 13 of the first fight. Pacquiao versus Márquez 2 was just as thrilling as their first encounter. A back-and-forth classic. Down goes Márquez. Pacquiao lands a perfect straight left. Pacquiao pours on the combinations. Oscar De La Hoya had been the biggest star of his generation. Pacquiao made the bold move of jumping up 2 weight classes to fight him. Nobody thought Manny could win. Fact, some even tried to stop the fight. A bill was introduced in the Philippine legislature to prevent Manny from leaving the country, arguing he would be annihilated. De La Hoya was bigger, stronger. On paper, it looked like a mismatch in his favor. But the ring tells a different story. You never would have thought it could happen. He was such a good-looking guy, but you turned his face into a disaster. After taking down yet another Mexican fighter in the ring, Manny Pacquiao earned a new nickname, the Mexicutioner. No one had ever moved up in weight class while keeping their power like Manny did. No one. Becoming the greatest boxer on the planet wasn't enough for him. Pacquiao was elected to Congress in the Philippines. But could politics become a distraction? According to his trainer, Freddie Roach, a man who knows him better than anyone, it already has Antonio Margarito was caught using illegal hand wraps dipped in plaster of Paris before his fight with Shane Mosley. When the wraps got wet, they hardened into something like cement, forming a dangerous advantage. On fight night, Margarito weighed in at 165 pounds, 17 pounds heavier than Pacquiao. He was the biggest opponent Manny had ever faced, but Margarito had already disgraced himself, using those illegal wraps to beat top fighters. He was a cheater. So, it's okay to enjoy what you're about to see at Ian Cowboy Stadium. The massive screen showed the fight. The crowd erupted. Legendary trainer Emanuel Stewart said it was inevitable. The millions watching around the world wished they were there. Then, the moment arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble. Pacquiao was facing his biggest opponent yet. What did he show us tonight? He landed a huge left hand and a flurry of punches, forcing Margarito to back up. Pacquiao dominated every round. It was all Manny Pacquiao. His global fame kept growing. Carl Froch scored every round for Pacquiao. The fight wasn't over, but how good was he? Emanuel Stewart answered, "One of the best fighters ever. His power, his explosiveness. He was a once-in-a-lifetime fighter." It was a brutal beating. Margarito, who outweighed Pacquiao by 17 pounds, took a vicious punishment. Pacquiao won by unanimous decision. It was his fifth straight victory against a much bigger opponent. He had now conquered 8 divisions, earning titles in 8 different weight classes. Unmatched, unparalleled, the greatest. Would we see another legendary performance from Manny? One opponent looked at him and thought, "No way this guy can beat me. He was too small." But that was a mistake. There were more Filipino fans in the crowd than Americans when Shane Mosley stepped into the ring. The action began. They touched gloves. Then, Pacquiao landed a perfect right hand. Mosley went down. Wow! That didn't even feel that hard. Mosley thought. He got back up, but he was still dizzy. "I've never been hit like that before." The fight continued. Mosley had 10 more rounds ahead of him. It was a big payday for him. But another big win for Pacquiao, still the welterweight champion of the world. Manny "PacMan" Pacquiao. Then came his 4th fight against Juan Manuel Márquez. Márquez was a legend himself. He wanted this fight for his legacy. He was hungry. Meanwhile, Manny was getting more involved in politics and charity work. His team knew he wasn't preparing like he should. Have you told Manny he could lose this fight? Yes, Freddie Roach admitted. He's losing focus. Success had softened him. He didn't have that same hunger anymore. "You need tunnel vision in boxing," Roach said. "You can't be distracted." It reminded people of Rocky III. You can't wear 2 hats in this sport, and then it happened. Márquez knocked him out. The loss was shocking. Commentators questioned if Pacquiao should continue. His skills, heart, and toughness had never been doubted until now. For the first time, his durability was in question, but Pacquiao had a message for his fans. When you fight for something bigger than yourself, age is just a number. He was back. He won a unanimous decision against Brandon Rios and Chris Algieri. The Filipino fans roared for their hero, but one thing remained. If you didn't fight Pacquiao, people would say you never fought the best, the fight that the world had been waiting for, Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. The biggest showdown of the social media era. After years of delays, it was finally happening. The hype was massive. The live gate brought in $72 million. The fight broke pay-per-view records, selling 4.7 million buys. It was a financial monster, projected to generate up to $400 million, more than the GDP of 29 countries. The 2 greatest boxers of their generation were finally facing off. Let's get ready to rumble. 16,000 fans packed the arena. Millions watched worldwide. The fight was on. Mayweather started fast, landing clean right hands. Pacquiao struggled to find openings. As the rounds passed, Mayweather took control, making it look easy. "Jim, I have Mayweather comfortably ahead." In the end, Mayweather outboxed him. Pacquiao fought bravely but couldn't break through. The richest fight in boxing history was over. Mayweather remained undefeated. Like many athletes, boxers struggled to retire. Pacquiao wasn't done yet. "It's my time," he said. Enter Keith Thurman, undefeated, hard-hitting, the longest reigning welterweight champion. He promised to retire Pacquiao, to destroy his legacy. The excitement in the Philippines was at an all-time high. The fight began. Thurman landed 10 punches early, but then Pacquiao dropped him. The crowd erupted. It was a quick, sneaky shot. "I want to be the man who ends Pacquiao's career," Thurman had said, but Pacquiao had other plans. His legacy was often compared to Muhammad Ali's. Both men fought for more than themselves. Every time Pacquiao stepped into the ring, it meant more roads, hospitals, parks, and schools for the Philippines. His career had started in 1995, when Thurman was just 6 years old. Now, at 40, Pacquiao was still proving himself against an undefeated opponent. In one of the biggest fights of his life, he delivered yet again. How is he still doing this? People asked. Pacquiao defeated Thurman, becoming the oldest welterweight champion in history. The winner, the pride of the Philippines, the ageless wonder, Manny "PacMan" Pacquiao. "Could you be president one day?" someone asked him. "It's too early to say," he answered, but one thing was certain. No one brought the fight like Pacquiao.